It seems like good movies this year have been rarer than Sydney Sweeney haters who weigh less than 400 pounds, and after a summer movie season that didn't exactly rock anyone's world, I'd be lying if I said I was optimistic going into the August dumping ground, the traditional spot where studios shart out the last dregs of their release schedule that didn't quite make the cuts. But if there was one bright spot on the horizon, it was Weapons, a horror mystery directed by Zach Crigger about a small town struggling to cope with the disappearance of an entire class full of children. The trailer definitely piqued my interest, but as I've learned all too well with movies like 28 Years Later, a great trailer doesn't always translate into an awesome movie. In this case though, it actually did.
Are you serious?
Weapons is the kind of movie that's become all too rare these days. A gripping mystery told in a creative way that has you invested right from the first scene, with a great cast who really sell the impact of the event and the complexities of their characters, and a neat atmosphere of slow building tension and dread, culminating in a violent and gory finale. As a horror movie, it actually gave me a few chills during the darkest sequences, but it works equally well as a character study about flawed people dealing with trauma and dark secrets, and an intriguing mystery that rewards careful viewing, where the pieces gradually come together, but not in the order you'd expect. Now, I'm going to go light on my plot synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you don't want to know a single thing about this movie, well, I understand. Just know that I resent you for it. Anyway, the movie opens up in the small American town of Maybrook with the disappearance of 17 school children who all get up in the middle of the night at the exact same time, run outside and vanish into the darkness. As we soon find out, all of them belong to the same class, and only one kid named Alex was left behind, with no explanation for what happened to his friends. Suspicion naturally falls on their teacher Justine, who's placed on mandatory leave while the police investigate, and turns to drinking to help her cope. But she soon finds herself plagued by nightmares about the missing kids, and a mysterious woman who always seems to be in the background. Determined to find out what really happened, she begins investigating and eventually uncovers something sinister going on at Alex's house. And she's not the only one. Archer, one of the other parents, is determined to find out what happened to his son and uses his experience as a construction engineer to map out where the various kids were heading to. But as their various investigations converge, they uncover something far darker and more dangerous than anything they could have expected. Now, apparently one of Zach Crigger's inspirations for Weapons was the movie Magnolia, and you can definitely see the influence in how the film's structured. The narrative unfolds non-chronologically from multiple perspectives, so that just when you get to a point in the story where something dramatic or inexplicable happens, it'll usually jump backwards in time to tell the story leading up to it from a new point of view. It's a fun way of experiencing a story like this, and it allows Crigger to pace out the mystery elements, giving you just enough to move things forward, then taking you back to fill in the blanks in between. What surprised me as well is how far the movie backs off from the horror elements at times to deliver a much more dramatic, character-centered story. Horror movies aren't exactly known for their complex characterizations and deep introspection, but Weapons manages to do it with ease. The characters in this movie, their various flaws and hang-ups and dark secrets, are just as important to the narrative as the mystery they're trying to uncover and the threat that they face. And it's all helped along by superb performances from Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, and even Alden Ehrenreich. After suffering through the absolute indignity of Ironheart, it's nice to see the guy making a bit of a comeback with Weapons, playing a troubled police officer trying to cover up his mistakes. Brolin delivers his usual powerhouse performance as a flawed but loving father determined to get his son back at any cost, but it was Julia Garner that surprised me the most, managing to go from a mousy schoolteacher to a moody alcoholic, a terrified victim, and a defiant survivor in the course of a 2-hour movie, and completely owning every aspect of the character. There's a bigger theme to this movie about the impact of traumatic events on small communities, the paranoia and scapegoating that can tear them apart, the need to find meaning and answers where sometimes there are none, and it's not hard to see the allegories with gun violence and school shootings. An entire classroom of kids suddenly being ripped away from the town at a moment's notice. Shit man, the film's even called Weapons in case you weren't too quick on the uptake, but these themes never overshadow the substance of the movie. It's more about giving you something else to consider rather than battering you over the head with its messaging. I have to give a tip of my hat to the horror and intrigue of Weapons as well. Horror movies these days are a bit like the WNBA. Yeah, they exist, but fuck knows why, and and finding one that actually makes you feel on edge with anticipation and gets the adrenaline pumping is rarer than rocking horse shits. But Weapons actually managed it with me. There were times when I felt the hairs on the back of my neck prickling with the tension, wondering what the hell was about to happen next, eager to know where the story was going but almost dreading it at the same time. At well over 2 hours, Weapons is fairly long for a horror movie, but it never felt like it, which is really the best compliment I can give. It's a slow burn, interesting and ultimately satisfying movie that's clearly had a lot of thought put into it, and since August isn't exactly bursting with exciting new releases, I can definitely recommend it to anyone looking for a decent bit of horror to round out the summer movie season. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.